is an epidemic in our country where people are mentally ill, unstable. I don't know about you, but I see it in traffic. Now, people drive, I mean, just crazy stuff that you see in the inconsiderate behavior of people behind the wheel that absolutely have no patience for anybody. And I just wonder sometimes when people do this, if they even know or even appreciate or even care who might be the person that they're behind. It always kills me when somebody actually will go around you. You're doing the speed limit, if not a little bit more. They'll go around you and then slam on the brakes and make a right. As if that shaved additional time off, 2 seconds? If they slowed down, it was the same. They slowed you down. But they were going to show you, weren't they? Crazy, crazy behavior on roads. The road rage is crazy here in the Tampa Bay area. It's gotten worse on the highways here where people just get in and out of traffic, weaving in and out, aggressive behavior. Luckily, the Florida Highway Patrol has been cracking down on aggressive drivers. I don't know about your area, but around here, they have told people that they will be enforcing and cracking down and fining people that aggressively drive. And they're on the lookout because they cause accidents. There's no doubt about it. And hopefully you're not an aggressive driver. And if you are, if people get on your nerves, leave earlier. Give yourself more time. Don't stress yourself. That's what people do. They're late. They stress. And then, of course, you can never get to the place fast enough. You get all the lights. Murphy's Law happens. Leave early. Don't get all upset, bent out of shape, and cause an accident yourself or run into somebody else and injure or kill somebody. It's just not worth it. But I'm convinced that some of the stuff that I see, people are just nuts. They're just in their own little bubble and in their vehicles. And it's like with these SUVs. I drive a car, but it's how some of these people act in the bigger vehicles. It's like they think they can get away with a whole lot more. That's another discussion. Folks, say a prayer for anybody that might suffer from mental health problems in our country. I don't think people ask for it. I think people are born with it. It's almost like having a disease. The frightful thing is untreated. Those that are not receiving any kind of treatment for it, and nobody holding anybody accountable for it, or if they were receiving treatment from it, they're not receiving any treatment any longer. They're not keeping the doctor's appointments. They're not taking the advice of their doctors. They're self-medicating. That's always the worst. And these people are raging. And apparently this guy had some rage problems because he abused his wife and his kid. And this guy was roaming our streets. Tick, tick, tick. A time bomb. What do you do? What are some suggestions for somebody like that? I don't know. Maybe Baker Act these people, at least get evaluation, get them on some medicine. Monitor them. Monitor them. That's the only thing I can say. Monitor the person a little bit more. We're going to have to be our brother's keeper a lot more. And the mental health aspects of our society are overwhelmed. There's no shortage of shrinks. Psychologists, psychiatrists, it doesn't matter. I mean, you can't barely get an appointment. You can barely get in. And that's troublesome, folks, because for whatever reason, we seem to have this breakdown within people. And we're human beings. Some people reach their breaking points. PTSD, something traumatic happens in their life through growing up, getting beaten, sexually abused. These things scar the brain. And people become abusers themselves, and so forth and so on. And they take it out on other people. And again, they sometimes hold these things inside, and then all of a sudden, something's a trigger, and then they just go off. And you see, as a result, these 26 people that lost their life. Rand Paul is a senator of ours, the Kentucky senator, Senator Rand Paul, was attacked in his yard this weekend. He was mowing the yard on a weekend, just kind of taking a break from it all in Washington. You'd say, gosh, the guy mows his own lawn, trying to be real, trying to probably get some sunshine, trying to just take care of things on his own, getting some exercise, getting some fresh air. And according to reports, there was a neighbor who took him by surprise and took him down. A little wrestling going on. It must have been a hell of a takedown, because reports initially indicated that Paul had only received minor injuries. You may have heard that as a news report coming in. However, a top Paul strategist confirmed yesterday that the injuries are much more than just minor. They include, fractured ribs, at least 5 of them. And according to Doug Stafford, Paul's chief political strategist, the junior Kentucky senator is in great deal of pain. He has 5 rib fractures, including 3 displaced fractures. This type of injury, from what I understand, is caused by high velocity, severe force. So I don't know how big this neighbor was, but it is not clear exactly how soon Rand Paul is going to be back to work, as the pain is considerable, as in the difficulty in getting around, including flying, Stanford said at the statement Sunday, according to Politico. And he's got problems breathing, too. Susceptible to pneumonia, internal bleeding, lacerations of internal organs, lung contusions. Says Senator Paul does have lung contusions currently. This type of injury is also accompanied by severe pain that can last weeks to months. Senator Paul and Kelly appreciate everyone's thoughts as well as well wishes. He will be back fighting for liberty in the Senate soon, according to his assistant. Now, Paul's neighbor who did this, 59 years old, Renee Bocher, he was arrested Friday evening for assault. He was then booked for 4th-degree assault and has since been released on bail. Paul was mowing his grass, like I say, at the time of the assault. Why this neighbor decided to attack him when he was mowing the yard, God knows. But like I say, man, there's people that let things boil over and take things physical. And physical did he get. Yeah, this is not like a serious crime here, by the way. 4th degree, could get up to 12 months in jail for an assault charge. However, he could be charged with additional crimes given the extent of Paul's injuries. So we'll have to kind of wait and see on that. But it'll be interesting to see if they can get some kind of statement out of this guy, his 59-year-old neighbor, which neighbors are baffled. They are in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Now this guy that walks his dogs daily around the neighborhood says hi to everybody. Seems friendly enough to everybody. How he could possibly do this. So this is the big doings and talks of the town, but of the nation now, of the senator. But in Bowling Green, that's what everybody's talking about. How could somebody do this? It's our senator. The political climate is so charged, folks. People have taken this personal, and they've gotten personal, and they've gotten violent. And this is getting pretty scary out there, folks, because we're seeing a whole lot more of this. People lunging out, uncontrolled, acting violence out, just like they see this stuff in the movies. And I'm not going to do a big diatribe about how bad movies are, because there's plenty, millions of Americans that watch them, and they don't act like this. They don't do these things. But you'd have to wonder about people that are unhinged, seeing these particular images again and again and again. this Saipov guy in New Jersey who went into New York, rented that truck. His sister said, at least, that the guy was harmless, in her opinion. But they found these images of beheading, images of violence from ISIS. I mean, if you're mentally ill, those images probably don't do you too well. I'm just thinking. That's one of my jobs here as talk show host For the People, to think. And some of you can add in a few things too. And I'd love to hear from you on Facebook at For the People Show. You can just type that in, or just go to our website at forthepeopleshow.com. This is an interactive show. And by the way, we have a lot of people on social media that follow us all over the world. So you'll be starting a thread fresh for everybody to be able to add in. And you'll be surprised at how many great Americans, and for those that live abroad, that weigh in on all sorts of subject matter that we talk about. And so you will be in good company. And even if you disagree with a conversation, please intelligently inform me. Tell me what it is that's on your mind. I do want to know. I will not shun you. I will not disgrace you. And you're not going to get people that are going to ridicule you, rake you over the coals, which is kind of refreshing. Because unfortunately, when people do have differing opinions online, you see all sorts of attacks. Listen, somebody can have a differing viewpoint. I'm always educated from those that are from the liberal persuasion, even those that I would call liberal loonies or lunacy, that they have been deluded. We try to go fact-based. Fact-based is always, I think, a good protocol. Sensibility is a positive thing. But you got to do your due diligence. I tell people, go beyond just listening. I know you don't have time, but it does mind well if you do go beyond just the talking points or some of the mere headlines in the news, that you go beyond it and really have an intelligent, informed discussion about it. Because that's the only way that you can seriously grow as an individual. We pray for Senator Rand Paul, by the way, recovering from his injuries. I'm sure that had to have been pretty scary for somebody that would take you, slam you to the ground, and it must have been some pretty blunt force for that many fractures. Unless this guy's bones were so brittle. But blunt force can do that. 5 ribs, ouch. You ever broke a rib? You ever poke your rib? That hurts. And if you got the lung that's been poked there and you got lacerations, that's going to hurt. Not a good thing. Robert Porter, a friend of Paul's, said that he didn't get any severe injuries to his face, but he didn't offer any additional information. That's a friend of the senator's. Renee Botchard, whose property near Paul's was charged again with 4th degree with minor injury in the incident. Botchard is a anesthesiologist. So this guy is a medical professional. His neighbor that did this to Rand Paul administers anesthesia to people that are going into surgery. I guess it doesn't take a great degree to become an anesthesiologist, but you have to go to school to properly know how to not really kill anybody. Anyway, here's a seated senator. I mean, yeah, I hope they mark up the charges a little bit more than 12 months, make an example out of this guy. I mean, he clearly knew who his neighbor was. And was this motivated by politics? Absolutely. Yeah, this guy did not like him. Guy's a Fruit Loop liberal and doesn't like the tax plan, doesn't like something, and he's going to blame one senator. It's all your fault. It's all your fault. I like the senator. I don't like all his views, but I think he's a righteous guy, if I can use that term. I think he means well for a country. I believe he is a patriot, loves his country, but definitely did not deserve all of this.